the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the LG Ultragear presents TC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial and apparel partner 656. Today is the start of a great day. We've got two matches coming up today, and we are excited. I've got with me Salty, my boy, here next to me, and we're going to be taking you through the two matches for today. The first one being we've got Orgless 5 going up against M42 Esports. Now, this is the M42 side that was exactly the same as what we saw before last season. They've
Yep.
come back again. They've got what they got, have prepared hopefully for this season because we spoke about it when they got relegated that if they are coming back, they ought to come back with a bang, or else this is not going to be, their cup of tea because teams are still just as strong as they were before. And I really
Yep.
hope that M42 have stepped it up this time.
Exactly. I just hope that M42 Esports they come back with a bang. But you know what? Who actually came back with a much bigger bang? It is Universe because he comes back after like what 2 to 3 days. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is his 100th best of three games in this season's Gauntlet or the entirety of Gauntlet itself. So yeah, guys. I mean, this is a century for him. You can actually show some love in the chat as well for him. But moving on, talking about the game itself, Orgless 5 versus M42 Esports. M42 Esports expecting coming back much stronger. Last season was a debacle, but this season I hope they've got something in their tanks. Speaking of Orgless 5, their start was also pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good. Orgless 5 did win it. Let's first talk about the team itself. Orgless 5 coming up in front of our screens as we have got a set of players that we are very familiar with, have no organization backing them, but they themselves have ironically named themselves Orgless 5. We've got Psy, Blackhawk, Hacker, Godvexy, and Wimp. Three of whom we've seen before in the EXO lineup, and two of whom who have just joined into this team to make this roster complete. Now, the one good thing about this roster is their first win, which, by the way, was well blown out of the water straight up. I think they won 13-1, 13-1 twice.
Mm,
I
wait,
I
even
actually
I'm
I
blank
don't
about that.
I don't remember properly, but Oculus 5 are a team that looks like they are going to move into, a sort of a transitional stage where these guys were part of different teams before. They've done their best in those teams, and well, they've had their, time done and dusted over there. Now they've come here to show what they've got together. We've got a new set of players. We've got three of whom who we recognize very famously from the EXO lineup. Godvexy has played on multiple lineups. He's played in Enigma. He's played in the S8UL as well. Now he's here with these bunch of people, and Hacker, who I actually don't know much about, but I'm excited to see how this lineup is gonna, line up against the side of M42. So let's have a look at them then. M42 coming up on our screens, the same team as we know before, led by Venom. Who have we got here, Salty?
I mean, this lineup, of course, always had stars filled with, right? Venom, Rick, Sam, Emo, Hyper. I mean, a couple of these players, they're so very experienced, not just in Valorant, but also in other FPS titles as well. You've got Riggs, you've got Emo, you've got Hyper, and these players are also so very capable of actually pulling games in there under their belt. But the only problem for M42 Esports was that they didn't really have enough strategies, or they didn't really have enough depth in their tactics to actually bring games home, right? And that was one of the problems. They were being very predictable. They were being read by the opposition like an open book, and that is something which you cannot afford to do in this very competitive ecosystem of Valorant that we have seen in our country so far. If you do the same thing over and over again, then you will be read and you will be countered, and that is exactly what M42 Esports problem were. They were always good in terms of taking the fights. They were always good in taking the trades, but when it actually comes to utility to set up a tactical advantage so that they can probably execute multiple sites, we never really got to see that.
Yeah, I have to believe that as well. I think that we didn't really see the full potential of M42, which could have been given, a little bit more variety, which I think should be coming in this season. I hope that this team,
Maybe.
maybe, I hope that this team can, perform to what we've seen them be. We've seen, stints of beautiful plays come out from Hyper, who, by the way, was on the MVP standings for multiple weeks in the season 3 of the Gauntlet. But yeah, it's not about individual performance, it's about team performance. And talking about teams, let's go to the group standings and have a look at where exactly we're going to see these teams place up. M42 playing their first game, are looking to grab up the 2 points that they have, whereas Orgless 5 have actually lost forgive me, they've lost the first match, and they pulled off one map out of it, which I believe was against God Particles.
Exactly. And considering that, I feel like God Particles, their start this season has been absolutely phenomenal. We saw them play against, I believe it was Orgless 5, and then after they played another game, which was, I believe, against Salt Esports, if I'm not very mistaken, or probably it was Flamon. I sort of have a very short-term memory loss for now, so but it doesn't matter. God Particle starting up with 4 points gives them that advantage which they didn't really have at the start of Season 3. Exceed Esports winning their first game is sort of a good sign for them, and for Salt, it has been sort of a dicey situation. They won against Flamon last day, and that gave them their first victory, right? And now it's starting to take shape. Apart from the fact that we have a couple of teams right at the bottom of the group who haven't played their first game so far. For M42 Esports, so this is going to be an opportunity to open their account and probably get some points on board right off the get-go. Orgless 5, again, just like you mentioned, this is sort of been a rough start for them. And if M42 Esports can actually take advantage of that, maybe they can get their first victory. Now we have to keep in mind, Universe, that even though Orgless 5, they have a sort of a shaky lineup. They've got 3 players from EXO, 1 player from SHUL, and 1 manager who was the ex-EXO manager in the form of Hacker. We saw Orgless 5 perform, and it didn't really look like this team sort of was struggling, especially against God Particles. I remember the game so far. On the map of Ascent, they were devastating, right? On the map of Haven, they were decent. And when you consider managers and other players coming in from other teams and making the lineup full, just like you mentioned, they've got 5 players. It doesn't seem like they've got a lot of experience, but how they play, it's fabulous, and it's amazing to watch. The aggression that they bring on the table is top notch, and that is exactly what I want to see today against M42.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how they are going to be playing because Sai, I believe, has been in a great form. I think he's going to be one of the dangers that they need to face off today because I saw him, he did put up the Jet performance just a couple of days ago, and seeing him on a Jet is something that I've always loved to do because he has been in that role since the beginning. He transitioned to the Initiator to the Sentinel. He tried multiple roles. Now coming back to it, well, let's hope it does only good for them as the map veto is ready, and let's have a look at it where exactly we are going to be facing off this battle between the two titans. As we've got Orgless 5 picking up Icebox, and with no surprise indeed, I knew it. It's kind of a given that I know that Sai loves Icebox. I know that Blackhawk loves Icebox. Wimp with that Killjoy loves playing on this map, and it's just a great map for them overall. Apart from Split, which is going to be the decider, and in between we've got Haven, which yet again I think Orgless 5 are going to be not at all disappointed by. So this is overall a pretty great map pool for the side of Orgless 5, whereas M42 might have a little bit of a struggle in the map of Icebox because I've seen
Yeah.
them play Icebox I think about 2 to 3 times in the last season of the Gauntlet, and these guys have struggled every single time.
Yeah. It does look like that, and to be honest, just like you mentioned, Orgless 5, they've got a lot of experience playing on Icebox as well as Split. Like Team X EXO, they always played on these 2 maps. They were really good on the map of Ascent as well, just like we saw in the last BO3. But compared to their opposition today, M42 Esports, I feel like this kind of pick from them is sort of influenced or inspired by the opposition's weakness, and that is one of the reasons why Orgless 5 want to target Icebox, and that's a very good approach. I feel like Orgless 5, they've given them the advantage right of the get-go in terms of getting good battlegrounds for themselves to fight on. The fact that they are fighting on their comfortable maps and the fact that their opposition is completely not the best when it comes to Icebox or Split or maybe even Haven, I feel like Orgless 5, they might be able to get off the charts, maybe get off the mark in this season's Gauntlet, maybe get their first 2 points. But is it going to be a 2-0 or a 2-1? We don't really know because M42 Esports, they've picked up the map of Haven. And considering the fact that last season was sort of a debacle, I expect them to sort of come back with a much more in-depth tactical performance. And Haven can be their first laying stone, right? And I feel like they will be able to sort of adapt to what Orgless 5 bring on the table. There is going to be a lot of unorthodox plays, but I feel like M42 Esports can adapt to that. And if they do so, they might have an edge.
Yeah, to be honest, it's all about how the way that they approach Icebox. I think that they need to be really careful about the way they uh go up against this Orgless 5 team on Icebox, because the one thing that is going to be a factor for M42 to work, that's it's going to be Hyper is the one person who literally pulls them out of any situation that seems a little tricky, seems a little sticky. He's the one who is going to be the forefront man. He's going to be the spearhead. He's going to go and try and find kills, being the jet main. And I think that stopping Hyper is going to be the one thing for Orgless 5 to do, because the others kind of just cascade into the line with Hyper falling off. And I really hope that it's not the same this season, because that's how it was last season. If Hyper
Yeah.
fell off, nobody would actually put up as much of a fight as they could. We've seen stints of brilliance coming from Venom playing on his Astra, but it's not always been there. Consistency has been a problem for this team, and that's kind of why they haven't, been able to qualify. They were relegated last season, but now that they have come back yet again for the final season to maybe give a mark off as to what exactly M42 Esports can do, hopefully they are able to make their way as a team that can maybe try to compete for the top four. For now, though, the side of M42, they need to at least find a good first half on the map of Icebox. I'm actually very skeptical of them winning the first half. I would say that the best that they can hope for is a 7-5.
Yeah.
Anything better than that, I
Yeah.
would actually say, well, job well done, congratulations. But that still wouldn't give up the game, because Orgless 5 love both the attacking and the defensive side. And the mind of Sai combined with, the way that Blackhawk floats around the entire map and wimps his, you know, map control, the way he keeps the map intact
Yeah.
with his Killjoy utility. And not to forget, we even have got Vexy there now, who is a great Sova main. And not to forget that Sai himself can basically fizzle into any role that he wants. He can play the Viper if he wants. He can play the Sova. He can play the Sky if he wants. He can play Jet. Whatever it is, Sai is an absolutely brilliant player who fits into multiple roles. And this is going to be a difficult one for M42. But the only way they win this is if it goes to a third map. Otherwise, I do not see M42 coming on top of this. But if they do surprise me, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be any sad to be proved wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just like you mentioned, Icebox is something which we are going to have next. And just like you mentioned, M42 Esports will be starting off on the attacking side of things. Now, there are certain things which we need to talk about, and that is going to be the controller pick coming in from that side. We haven't really seen M42 Esports kind of venture into uncharted territory, like bringing in a Viper or maybe playing some other form of controllers. Now, we know that Icebox is Viper's territory, right? And you have to play that agent if you want to get some advantage, some tactical advantage in terms of creating space. So the fact that Venom, who generally likes to play the Astra or switches around with the Omen sometimes, it will be interesting if Venom actually switches out to a different agent, probably playing the Viper this time, or maybe, just maybe, there might be a double controller game, which I think is not that. I don't think on Icebox you should need anything apart from a double Sentinel, including a Sage and a KJ. That has been the default picks for ages, but if Team M42 Esports go for a double Sentinel role, double controller role, then maybe we can see Venom on the Astra and maybe someone else on the Viper. What do you think, Universe?
I really don't think we're going to see an Astra. I've never seen an Astra being picked on this map, and I don't think we ever will,
Yeah,
unless there is, a different
exactly.
change in the map or something that allows Astra to become as potent as possible. Because the number of angles that are covered by one Viper wall is more than as many stars as you can place with an Astra, right? So that's kind of one disadvantage that Astra has on this, because the stars might be good. They are pretty good in terms of, varied utility, but not in terms of how you want to play as a proper controller, giving smoke cover and all that stuff. So
Astra
it's probably
doesn't
going to be a
really have.
double. I think it's going to be a double duelist. Let's move to the agent selection and talk about it as we do, though, ladies and gentlemen, as we have speculated a lot. And I think it might just be a double duelist, um, because Reina is something that Venom usually picks up. There is going to be a slight delay. I think one of the players has got the Val 5 error, so they have disconnected. That's all right. We'll get back into the game pretty soon. But I think it's probably going to be a double duelist setup, just because of the fact that I know that Venom loves that Reina. He loves playing that Reina. That's kind of what he started off his Valorant career with, I think. And we've associated him with that Reina. Even when we've seen him play on his streams, he loved playing Reina. So it could be a Jet and Reina combo along with a Viper Sage and Killjoy that we could see. But yeah, I don't
You
quite
trade off
exactly.
Sova on Icebox.
Okay,
Would
I
you
would
do
say
that?
I okay. You know what? I actually take that back. I'm gonna say Sova Killjoy, Sova Killjoy Viper, Sova Killjoy
100th
Viper.
game, ladies and gentlemen, 100th game.
Oh my god,
And
yo,
I'm playing with Universe.
yeah, that's because I play in a different league. That's why. Okay.
Okay, okay. Just because we're waiting for Sai, we just have some time to kill. You know what?
Mhm.
But yeah. I mean, it's a new episode. It's a new ranking system once again, and all these players are grinding so much. So maybe, just maybe, Valorant was like, I need to take some break. When we start on our custom game, it's like error.
Oh yeah, yeah. We are going to be getting Sai back immediately, and there it is.
You
We're
can
ready
just
to
unlock
go.
silver, by the way.
Sorry?
You unlocked silver, by the way, isn't
No,
it?
I didn't.
Yeah, you
Excuse
did.
you.
You did.
I
Oh,
didn't.
I didn't even complete my 5 games.
Yeah, because well, that's kind of your on that's on you. But I don't know what
I
you.
like to
I'm
play
not
escalation mode.
actually. You know what? I love escalation as well. I love playing escalation. It's actually my one of my favorite. I do not play snowball fight. I do not play replication. I do not play any of the other ones. But when escalation's on there, I'm like, go 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 go. I just have to play it. It's fun. It's kind of fun also because I love going through all the different guns. But let's go to the different agents now, as we have got everybody ready. Let's move into the agent selection screen, as every single player has locked and loaded in. We've got Sai insta locking the jet, and we would have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. But my Riot might have it, so that is the reason why they're kind of bringing a new system very soon. But anyway, speaking of agents right now, just like you mentioned, Hyper will be on the jet, will have a very key role. Oh my God, Venom is actually hovering over the Viper.
Okay.
Let's go. This is something which I did not expect. We talked about it, right? There has to be a Viper, and generally you don't really go for double controllers on this map. So yeah, Venom, best of luck. Emo on the stage, no surprise. There, Riggs on the Vacasia and Sam on Sova. Very default lineup on Icebox. Pretty much the similar thing, but no, wait, Hacker. Astra can be a safe pick. I understand with the Viper, you need some practice. You need to sort of have that coordination with your teammates,
This
and you need to
is
have the lineups on point as well. But an Astra can be problematic. I mean, you can certainly use the Nova Pulse as well as the Gravity Wells post plan. But thank you for
Select your
flirting with me.
agent.
Thank you for locking a Viper, because this is default, right? This is something which you would expect on the map of Icebox. These 5 agents are tried and tested, and there's nothing which actually causes problems in this one. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Mirror lineups of each other. The team with the better approach, the team with the better executes will win. That is for sure.
Yeah, they have to go with this lineup. I think this is the most basic lineup of Icebox. We've got a Sage, we've got a Killjoy. We can swap up the Sage for a duelist anytime if you want, but it's usually not done so just because of the double Sentinel setup works really well on this map. So let's go over to the map of Icebox, find out whether or not it's going to be the pickers of this map. Orgless 5 going to be taking it because they were on a good form yesterday when we watched them. Today, is it going to be the same? Let's find out. We've got Sai on the jet yet again, ladies and gentlemen. So, time to relive a couple of old memories and hopefully a few flick of the op shots. We're moving into Icebox.
Yeah, we certainly are. And just like you mentioned, yeah, of course, it is time to relive those memories, because the way he hit some shots, some nutty shots with the operator, he got some aces with Vandal as well, like with ease. I mean, Sai was absolutely flying in the server when he was playing the jet, and I hope that he does the same this time too. With that being said, we have 9 seconds on the clock before we get locked and loaded. This game is gonna start very soon, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see that it is Team M42 Esports who are on the attacking side, and it looks like it would be a B hit directly. Sai, the only form of resistance, trying to go a little aggro in this one. But with the Sheriff, can be a little bit of trouble. We have got the Viper, you've got the Jet as well. 2 forms of defense while 5 players wait to attack.
That Recon gonna find Sai. He has to go back a little bit, but no!
Oh, yeah.
He wants the kill, dashes away. 22 HP can be healed up by the Sage. Not gonna be a problem whatsoever. As an initial early advantage. Out of Orgless 5. Hacker. No avenue whatsoever. He spots out one, takes out one, not
Nice.
gonna get the other. Rix will find the trade as Hyper goes for an okay, this is an interesting plant. They are going for the upper tunnel plant. Alright, this is
Yeah.
interesting. They actually could go for the defense if they wanted to. But EXO, forgive me, Orgless 5 are actually taking over this site right now. Sai, a beautiful one tap to the head. Another one! And Rex is absolutely flabbergasted about what happened.
Dude, Sai was like, heal me up. He got healed up by the Sage. He comes in, he puts 2 bullets right through their skull, and he's like, all right, guys, finished. I've done the job. This is mammoth stuff, right? The moment Sai switched back to the Jet, we can see the initiative. We can see the amount of responsibility he has on his shoulders, amount of responsibility he's carrying, and the amount of performance that he's delivering. There was a lot of promise. Sai on the Jet, there was a lot of promise initially. You talked about like old days, right? For sure, we all love Sai on the Jet, but then he wasn't really performing that well as he was with maybe the Sova or the KO. But this is Sai 2.0. The resurgence is huge, and he has denied M42 Esports any sort of real estate towards the B side. Completely discouraged. They won't hit the A side right now, but the spike is still at B entrance. It's going to be a little interesting. Hacker is actually trying to push up, might actually be surrendering his life to Emo if he actually peeks out through this Viper's toxic screen. Nobody knows about this. Neither does Hyper, neither does Hacker, nor is Emo. Emo takes him down, gets a weapon for himself as well. Look at this. Hyper also gets Sai in return. This is a 3v4 right now. The attackers have a massive advantage. They've got a gun as well to work with.
Well, that was a little reckless from Hacker.
Yeah.
He should have had an eye on that angle, but going all alone like that against a couple of pistols who you know would be holding off angles, waiting for you to push up. Hyper not going to be working his classic in the way that he wants to. Blackhawk will get him down. 3 versus 3. Still doable for the side of Orgless 5 and actually even M42. They're holding it off. They're playing for time here. And here's got Vexy to come and shut everything down. Almost. Not going to be able to complete the kill, but Rex is down to 50 HP. All you got to do right now is play for time. But he's not got any weaponry to do so, and there's more than enough time for Orgless 5 to defuse this. 2 seconds to spare as Wimp and Blackhawk secure the round.
Absolutely. You know what? The Bulldog is actually a pretty decent weapon right now. Like, you can use it to secure rounds for yourself. It's a very economical purchase. I guess it's
And the
like...
Ares. And the Ares, by the way.
Ares is a bomb, dude. That's probably...
I love the Ares.
It's worth the money, dude, right now. Like, imagine buying a weapon for 1550 creds and you get so much return with it. The wind-up time is almost zero at this point. So you press the trigger, the bullets start launching from your barrel. You don't even need to scope in. You don't get that loss. This weapon is devastating so far. Didn't really see all that practical usage in my lobbies. I mean, none of us selvers know how to aim, so I guess no buffs can help us, but it's fine.
That's okay. You'll eventually learn.
Yeah. Outrun being sent in though. Like M42 really want to execute this B side. Rix, he's got a frag on the A side as well. So there's less potential for a backstep coming in. If he can hold that side down, I feel like the rest of the players towards the B side, they can probably perform this execute. Also, they have that avenue of falling back and maybe try and venture out towards the A side. Yeah, who knows?
Got Vexy getting up close with his drone. Wants to scout out a little bit of information. But look at Hacker.
Not again.
In the position.
Not again.
That is not ethical. I don't know why. Why? I mean, ironic that his name is Hacker then. It's, I mean, I get it. It's not ethical. Fine, fair enough. Okay, he's Hacker. Cool. But for now, they've lost 2 players and this was a bonus run and they're coming back towards A again, M42. And they've got an operator to be afraid of, and that's in the hands of Sai. He could dismantle this round all by his lonesome, but he misses the first shot, and he's got a couple of more to hit. He gets the one flick that he wanted, and Hyper's gone straight down. As Sai is trying to stay alive for as long as he possibly can, and he's waiting for his teammates to come in. 3 versus 4. The retake should be coming in. That grenade is not going to damage too much on
Nice shot, not so.
Sam, but here's the retake. 3 versus 2. What have you got for us?
Exactly, got Vexy with the Ares will be shut down. Rakes another one right in the skull, and there's just Sai with an operator. He has got 2 decisions to make. Does he go in? I don't think he's got the time or the comfort of actually making him work. He will get Emo though, so that's 1 gun dropped. It might actually encourage him to push forward, but then at 32 HP, that's almost impossible. He's got the dash away to safety as well, so he might actually save the off for better next round. But Team M42, they are sort of bringing it back because this was a very, very important round. This was a full buy round for them, and I feel like Sai kind of reinvested a lot to get this operator online. But even then, it can be problematic for them next round as well, because I don't really see them getting a lot of money from this round itself. And if they're buying Spectres and Sai all by himself is buying the has the operator on board, I don't think it can give you the best of results.
That is true. Now that he saved the operator for another round, he might want to go towards peak, because that's a one angle shot that he can possibly hit with the support of another player, and that's exactly where Sai is. As Orgless 5, well, the bonus round has been taken away from them, but that's not a problem yet. An eco which they will have to suffice with just for one round as Sai goes on his hunting duties.
The operator versus Emo right in front. The Ares. I guess the gun barrel will be visible in about millimeters now. Emo makes a move, the gun barrel will kind of give away his position. And Sai is in proper position to kind of get the kill and get away as well. There's nobody to trade him, so there's literally no trade potential. And Sai will know that there's here.
Beautiful.
He knows, he checks that angle and he takes him down. Beautiful stuff. And also the fact that there are preventive utility there. The snake bites that have prevented any sort of trades happening. So the operator is still online. 4v5 right now, and the attackers are actually slowly trending towards the A side. They've got that real estate to work with, but they still haven't made that entry so far yet.
Well, the one thing that they do have the information about is that Sai is on the other side of the map, so here there's potentially little to no resistance in terms of weaponry. Oh, Wimp! He's got one! He might have found the second, but Blackhawk's there to cover him up.
Down A.
Rex is alone in front while Venom is coming in from mid, and this could be a problem, but Venom's positioning might just be the most influential one. Blackhawk finds Venom, and now it's all onto Rex. 1 versus 3, lowering down players. He's still having as much SP as he possibly could. And Sai is still alive with the operator, so he needs to be careful because there is a Lurk coming behind. There's no time left for him. He needs to go for the spike and get this plant. But guess who's covering it?
He absolutely won't. They can pick up a gun. This was a sort of an equal round for them. But Team Orgless 5, they actually bring it back. They did not invest a single penny in that round, and they saved up so much. The fact that they got so much results out of that Spectre and Classic Pin Sheriff, it was mammoth for them. But Orgless 5, this third round was really important because this kind of poses a new threat for Team M42 Esports. They don't really have money to buy weapons this time around, which basically means Team M42 get an automatic fourth for themselves if they are really good. But something that we have seen so far is that M42 Esports, they are very adamant of holding the same angles once again, right? The predictability in their game is sort of haunting them once again, and Team Orgless 5, they're making appropriate use of it, right? Hyper does take down God Vexy, but that's okay because Blackhawk is right behind him.
Well, Blackhawk is going to run away. He wants to be safe because these blades a little too sharp to be faced up all by yourself. Blackhawk will revive up his teammate as God Vexy is going to be able to make a little bit more impact on this round than he would have wanted to. And here is another 5v4 situation that M42 are going to be struggling in. Hyper needs to be the person to find them the opening. The Jet needs to find the frag that they require, and they spotted out Hacker, and his immediate response is to run the hell away from there. He will go to safety, and here's a Sai versus M42 face-off that's coming in. Oh, Hacker! Holy, he just needs to spray down, and he wins! Emo! His back was seen, and he's gonna be taking a bullet right in the back as Venom will trade back in the form of Hacker. Sai's around the corner to take out Venom, and Blackhawk to finish things off as number 4 comes up for the side of Orgless 5.
Orgless 5 giving a heavy beating to M42 Esports. I love the fact that Hacker disengaged this time the moment he sees those players coming in. If you remember correctly, the first two rounds he was like, all right, I'm gonna push in, I'm gonna hold an aggressive position, but he got beaten every single time. This time he learns from his mistakes, and this time he actually falls back towards mid so that his teammates can actually come in and help him reinforce the side, and that was exactly what they do. Especially when Blackhawk and Sai come in with their operators and their phantoms, you know that the team is going to fall apart, especially when Sai is hitting shots. This man is going absolute berserk. He's at 9-1 right now.
Yeah. Sai, like I said, he's been having an uproar of a form, so he's just on his best game right now. That's nothing. Look at this. They absolutely have no idea. Now they do. And Sai is not afraid, but he is going to be taken down, though. him being courageous is one thing, but him being a little reckless is another. Translates to his death, and that's going to mean that they are going to have to play without their main man here, Orgless 5, at least for this round. A little bit of a fake that I think Sam tried to sell out with just that one jump.
They've got a Viper Spit and a lockdown available. Even without their main man, I think they will be able to defend the side if they can use their ultimates properly. And this is the round that they need, because this is a full buy round, right? And if Team M42 Esports get broken up this round, I'm pretty sure it could be devastating for their confidence. Oh my god, what a lockdown it was. Rix sets them up to use up their lockdown. That is one ultimate waste. That was a very, very convincing fake universe.
Indeed it was, but they themselves could have used that over here on the B side, I feel, the attackers. And here's Hacker, yet again, trying to disrupt the flow. Emo, he's probably going to die here because he is going to be slowed down as well as poisoned out. Hacker playing that perfectly, asking for the slow up from Blackhawk was just cherry on top of the cake. But Venom, he's going to come and slice the cake with his own knife. He finds only one slice though, as Wimp is here to take the bigger slice of the pie. 2 versus 2. Rix will take down Blackhawk, and it's all on to Wimp now, who is gonna... Okay, that was kind of a whiff and a half from both those players over there, but M42 stabilized to find another round.
Exactly, they do stabilize. It was a really important round for them. Just like I mentioned, that lockdown from Rix was probably like seal the deal for them. Hacker, the fact that he was taken down, he couldn't use his Viper Spit to his best of abilities there. That's still fine because he got away with 1 kill with his snake bite, but had he deployed the Viper Spit, probably the round could have been theirs for the taking. But I absolutely have to speak of what Rix did over there. I feel like that fake was so good that even the team, even Orgless 5 sort of thought that they had to deploy that other lockdown to sort of stop them. But this time we've had a Viper Spit. Venom takes down Sai in a very aggressive position, catches him off guard, and he takes him out. Now you can see that Hacker has complete control of the A side. Meanwhile, the attackers are not moving an inch so far. They want Team Orgless 5 to kind of give in to their temptations and kind of push out of what they have secured for themselves. Look at this. They've got a Viper Spit, but they know that Hacker always has a tendency to push out of his locations, and they eventually will. And that is exactly the moment Rix is waiting for.
Well, he's left his turret there for now to wait for that moment. Hacker is aware of that, so he's not going to be giving out his position, and the A side will be left alone for now.
Yeah. That drone was really important coming in from God Vexy, because it gave Relay the information that all of these guys, they're actually waiting in mid and waiting for us to push in. And that information prevented Hacker from actually pushing out, because I kind of saw that he was willing to push out of his own Viper Spit, but then that was denied. Hyper uses it in the smoke, gets in a lot of coverage, but now the lovely little swarm grenades are going to deny the plant and kind of hold it back for a little more. Sam coming in from the backstab. Wimp has no idea, or does he? Oh my god, the recon that comes in, Wimp will be taking down. Nice stuff. Sam still survives for another fight. Venom gets God Vexy, which basically turns into a 3v2 so far. Hacker is gonna fall down as well. Rix doing so much heavy lifting with the operator. Blackhawk gets 1. It's a 1v2 required off of him so far. He knows both of their positions, and all he needs to do is get 1 kill first.
Oh, he actually doesn't know where Sam is. That's gonna be a problem. Now he realizes it, but Rix is coming on the backstab, and he's gonna find an easy kill. A turned away Blackhawk, and a round for the victory. 4-3 now. Icebox is turning out to be a more competitive one than Orgless 5 would have expected. They are going to be on an eco, so this is chance for the attackers to make this a level scoreline. But how far can they go? Because right now, one ultimate is available that's going to allow one particular person to be as aggressive as possible, Sai. He's got the Blades of Death in his hands that he probably is going to be activating unless he's got other plans. Nope.
Yeah. I mean, an eco round only translates to the Jet using her best abilities, but again, it should be level even Stevens terms for M42 Esports. They should be able to win this. They got 1 ultimate in the form of a resurrection, which shouldn't really give them a lot of real estate to work with, but it's still fine. I feel like they've got the guns to actually take care of that. The drone sends in Sensei back a little. He's still waiting with his 3 blades that he still possesses in his arsenal. Rix is going to take down the backstab, so Blackhawk has no territory to work with whatsoever. He's going to go down the grave. 4v5 so far. I love the respect that M42 Esports is giving to Orgless 5. They know that all these four guys, they've rotated towards the A side. They know that there is no facet of entry so far. They're making them read the wrong game. They just waited a tad bit more to sell this convincing fake that they're going towards the B side. But no, now they've got another important frag. That is Sai is down, so no Blade Storms to work with. And now all they've got to worry about is going to be those classics.
Well, those classics might just, or the sheriffs might be a little bit problematic. Wimp will find one head, and he needs to find a couple more to make his team a little more comfortable in the situation. Hyper up on Heaven is gonna find one. God Vexy chimes in with another, and it's all on to God Vexy now. 1 versus 3. Make that a 1 versus 3 versus nothing. 4 and 4. A little bit of round mixing.
3 versus nothing.
I mean, 3 versus nothing. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, understandable.
The one thing that M42 have done really well this time for the last couple of rounds has been holding the line. They're waiting for the side of Exo, forgive me. Why do I keep saying, oh my god, I see their names and I keep saying Exo, forgive me.
Yeah.
Orgless 5 to keep pushing up, and they try to make sure that they commit the mistakes first, because no matter what happens, you can see that Orgless 5 are actually being as aggressive as possible. They're going down towards halls. They're going down towards B main. They are trying to push even A at times. And they are keeping the side of M42 a little on their toes. And M42 are actually doing pretty well, because they know that the side of Orgless 5 are going to be pushing up multiple times in a row. And they need to stop doing that, to be honest. Look at this again, Blackhawk. He's all alone. He knows he peeks out. He probably is going to find maybe 1 or 2 players. But he still wants to stay there. He's not going back. He's got support now.
This wall is really interesting, Universe, because it sort of cuts the attack into halves, but then it doesn't really do too much. Very intrigued to find out that we still use this wall in this phase of competitive Valorant, but the fact that we have utilized that wall over there, right now for them the retake situation gets a little tricky, because they can't really block off this yellow region, because a lot of defenders love to wall off this region to isolate the players who are in long and isolate the players who are in mid, so that they can take those isolated fights. But now that the wall has been used for something which is not very impressive, I'm kind of very excited with what the plan of action is going to be.
Well, I think it's going to be a plan of action. It's to attack B. And here is Hacker trying to hold them off for as long as possible. Left. He knows they're close by. He knows they're around this corner. Emo gonna go for that plant. And he is gonna be getting it successfully this time. No poison hitting whatsoever. As Sam will take down one. God Vexy looking for the planter. Not gonna get anything, but Sam is also gonna miss out on his shots. A 5 versus 4 retake, and M42 for the first time gonna be able to take the lead in their favor.
Yeah. So far, so good. The spike has been planted, and they're waiting, just waiting for these opponents to peek out. Now, Sai probably needs to trade this weapon off, because otherwise they would make no advancement so far. The rest of the 2 players have already given up, and Sai is looking for exit frags. This is no way possible. 5 players on a retake. This looks devastating so far. Sai does get 1 frag for himself, but that's all that she wrote for him. 4-4, or rather it is going to be 4-5 very soon. We've seen so much good work that Rix has actually pulled off with his own operator, especially in the attacking side of things, right? It's very difficult to pull off the operator on the attacking side, but Rix has done it so perfectly. He's also used his ultimates as well as utility to perfection. The way he's kind of prevented any sort of backstabs coming in from mid as well as from the A side is impeccable. And continuing this forward, M42 Esports, now they're looking very dynamic. They've got the means to kind of prevent backstabs from coming in. They are switching between the A sides and the B side perfectly. Hyper is giving them frags. Venom is cutting the sides in halves. This looks M42 Esports in their prime.
Lead. Cobb jumping out of the open towards mid. Does not expect anybody to... Oh, okay. A little close to Venom's positioning. He did see him there thanks to the recon. And now he's come back yet again on top of tubes. This is going to be a problem for Venom. He's stuck there alone, but he could get the jump on to his opponent. He's expecting it. Venom, he's going to peek it. This is going to be a problem. 1 versus 1, and Blackhawk has the better angle over there. Throws in the slow up, gets away from there, and that's all that he needed. 5 versus 4. He even has a revive available just in case. That's going to put the side of Orgless 5 in a really good position to win this round.
Yeah, certainly. Sam versus Wim. Sam wins the fight, creates an advantage, falls back. Good stuff right there. Good discipline coming in from Team M42 Esports. But Blackhawk through the cloudburst. What a spray it was. Emo does have a resurrection available. Still thinking about it.
30 seconds left.
Well, he wants to go for it. He's going to put down his wall as well. Oh, no! Sam has found one, found two, and he's probably done enough with Sai's here. And Sai's going to get taken out by the same weapon he's wielding. 3 versus 2, and suddenly M42 have changed the entire pace of this game. They've taken about 5 rounds in a row, make that 6th one, given that this one is also going to be one of those. And how on earth are Orgless 5 losing this?
No idea, to be honest. M42 Esports are doing things which are even unpredictable to their standards. Like, even for them, I think like they're not pulling off moves which are thought out previously. They're just trusting their instincts and pulling off. Like, that push coming in from Sam was so good that it kind of destroyed the entire round. Team Orgless 5, they had the advantage to work with right at the start, but then it was completely denied with M42 Sam pushing out in an unconventional manner, finding one player off guard, finding the second kill, and finding the third kill. That just broke apart the defense.
It most certainly did. The way that the side of M42 have been playing has been absolutely paramountal. The difference is night and day from what we saw them do before in the previous season. And I love that they're being this confident. They are being respectful, but they're being confident. They're holding. They know that they have got the upper hand here. With the way that Orgless 5 are playing, they know that they just need to wait. And wait is going to be rewarding them. And that's exactly what's happening so far. 4-6. They have the upper hand with 2 rounds in their hands. And they could finish off this half in their own right. And that's exactly what I was saying, that if they do, I would not be, feeling any bad to be proved wrong. And it looks like it might just happen.
Maybe.
So yeah, maybe.
Emo and Hacker finding trades for themselves. Hyper finds Hacker as well. So it's 2-for-1 trade, and Team M42 once again establish advantage, once again establish control. The fact that Sai is pushing out is going to find Riggs, but with a Vandal, he actually takes down the operator guy, but Venom trades him. Nice trade over there, 2v3 so far. But Sam is in dangerous territory so far. He is in the back lines of his opposition, and he can cause a lot of problems. 2 players still in mid, completely unaware of Sam's position. 2 taps, and they could be out of the game. 1 spray down to God Vexy. Blackhawk still survives that onslaught, but 1v3 up against Hyper and Venom, it's going to be really tough. Spray down comes in, he finds the first kill, 17 HP to heal himself up. He stabilizes for now, but for how long can he hold on? There is this Viper Spit that has been invested in as well, so Venom trying to take the fight before planting the spike, and he will finish off Blackhawk. What a wonderful run it has been, what a wonderful comeback it has been for M42 Esports.
Yeah, most certainly. It has been a great comeback for the side of M42. They've picked up multiple rounds in a row. They've picked up 6 rounds now in a row. And they can pick up their 7th as well. It is looking really good for them as the side of Orgless 5 are now on an eco. Or rather, a forced buy. Which is not that great because they've got a Guardian, a Phantom, a Bulldog, a Spectre, and another Guardian with half armors across the board and just 1 person good enough with full armor. This is their only chance of making the 7-5 in their favor. Let's find out how it's going to be going down. Sai, good positioning. Hyper expects this. And that's exactly why he's looking up. Sam as well is right there to cover him up. And this is going to be a Mexican standoff until they move up ahead. Any one person moves up ahead. But the 3 pluses M42 here are good enough to take out Sai. Because he is going to be spotted out, and there it is.
Oh no, Sai in some weird positioning, and Emo is going to finish him off with the Guardian. Or rather with the Vandal, rather. Pardon me for that. 4v5 that we still have. Viper Spit invested in A, completely rendered useless because these guys, they're moving towards B. The alarm bot has been triggered, so they know right now that this will be a backstab coming. There will be a backstab coming. Nice ultimate invested towards the B side as well. The lockdown sort of takes the sting out of the attack. gives them some time to work with and analyze the situation that's going on. 4v5, there's a massive advantage for the attackers because this potential universe is sort of like a 2v5 right now in every single site. And if these players from M42 manage to break in with brute force, I'm pretty sure the rest of Orgless 5, there's Blackhawk and
30 seconds left.
the KJ, both of them will be completely overwhelmed with the amount of manpower, with the sheer manpower that Team M42 Esports will deploy. Evo takes on Blackhawk. Bulldog trying to break the wall. Wim tries to create a diversion and trying to maybe make them rethink about the plan. He is still gonna push up, but Sam through the little chamber that there was. Little position. Bullets run through and he gets another interesting kill. God Vexy as well as Hacker. Hacker will be taking down the Guardian. Not really very successful so far. Venom peeks out, drives by God Vexy, a bullet right through his skull. The cerebral chamber has been completely destroyed, and so has been destroyed the half. 8-4, and M42 Esports are on a roll right now, Universe. Your prediction sort of did not come true, for sure.
And I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
But for M42, what does this mean? Do they have an advantage? Or can Team Orgless 5 maybe mount comeback on attack? Because we have seen Orgless 5 and their sheer aggression. And it can certainly cause problems for M42's defense. We're not sure how the defense is going to look like, but we certainly are predicting that this team will try and brute force their way into the first side of the deck as they see.
Yep. Let's find out whether or not the side of Orgless 5 can make a comeback happen in this match or not. 42 have a good setup on A, and look at that mid push from them. They've got so much information, and them pushing up in a 3-stack like this is only going to help them a lot more. Absolutely no idea for Orgless 5, but this turret could give away a little bit. Hacker is ready and waiting. He sees one, thinks another, finds two, and he's probably done enough to hold off this backstab. Godvex is gonna dink a third, finish off a third, and that's gonna be the side of Orgless 5 probably winning out this round. Perfectly handled.
I love the fact that Team Orgless 5, they turned every single fight into a 2v1 instead of like you know, just rushing into fights mindlessly. Their skill to pair up and gang up on an opposition was perfect, and this probably resulted them in getting the first pistol round, right? That was the win condition for them. They've got the weaponry to make it 8-6 at least, right? Whenever there is a 4-8 situation, you want to win the pistol round first, and then the round after that. It gives you that advantage to work with. If you win the bonus round, you effectively render the entire first.
But the side of Orgless 5 do not other.
Yeah, they've got the spike towards the A entrance, right? But they've got that Prince towards B. They went pretty far ahead, but then they disengaged from that from the B side entrance. And now it sort of looks like they are planning to move towards the A side. But the read is good from Team M42. They've got 3 players stacked up towards A side. The drone sort of reveals more positions. Hyper is going to push up. Blackhawk is completely dinged. Wim, though, will come in for a save. But M42's emo just shuts down both of them and gets away with murder. This was proper killing, and Sai right now wants revenge.
Oh, he's got one person in the corner, but he's going down to 32 HP, and Wimp is taking out Sam, so that's one good thing. Sai will finally find that kill, but Hyper, stuck in this corner, who was helping out from the fate of his teammate, is going to go down eventually. And that's one person more down. 14 seconds left on the clock. The plan needs to go on right now. There is no way Sai is winning this one out in the open. Is going to get blown to bits by Venom, and that's going to mean round number 9. And of course, the scoreline reads 6-9.
Absolutely, this was a really well contested round, right? You mentioned it, there wasn't really all that utility usage. All of that gunfight actually came down to the nest situation, right? There was one guy, I believe it was Hyper, who actually pushed up. He got that vision towards Blackhawk. Blackhawk was dinged by the Sova drone. Right after that, he pushed up. Emo gets the 2 frags. There was an entire gun battle that happened with no such utility usage, and that is something which I think a team Orgless 5 can do much better, right? They do have the advantage. They have the utility to actually make them force their way in. Instead of just relying on their sheer firepower, I think they can actually do a little better. But this time, they don't really have the firepower. They've got sheriffs to work with. This is a proper eco round for them. And right off the get-go, Blackhawk is going to find Rix right in front of him with a Phantom.
killed.
Rix
You should
perfectly
run.
timed, finds a good kill on the Blackhawk. That's gonna mean the end of this round probably, because this Killjoy ultimate is going to confirm them getting the plant down pretty easily. Venom is on the back of sight, but he is going to be able to help out. Okay then. There is the ultimate. Hacker will drop it down, and we've got a round on our hands that the side of Orgless 5 can potentially win.
Spike planted.
Emo's right around the
Lockdown.
corner. Yeah, they do have the lockdown. So that's probably gonna force them out unless they just let Hacker
They
sit in
also
that
have
fiber
this
split.
Fury.
That,
I mean, if you
got Vexy immediately, like you're saying, it's running like wild flowing stuff over here. A free flowing river that is going to be able to work in the favor of Orgless 5. All they need to do now is hold on. Do not die. Keep yourselves alive, and that's exactly what Hacker will do. The opposite of what I said. Blackhawk is in the prime position to win this round. But Wimp shuts out everybody.
What? Triple kill from that position. That was outrageous. I couldn't get his POV. I would have probably loved his POV, to be honest, over there, because the fact that he had to like aim at 3 different locations to find 3 different heads, that makes it kill. That makes a clutch so much more important. There was God Vexy to chime in as well to get the 4th, but the fact that he had to aim at different locations, hit all the watch, but Orgless 5, they still survive to fight another day. Look at this, right? They're still trying to go towards A side. Now, the fact that Sai has been pushing up way too much has probably caused problems for Orgless 5, but he can maybe contain himself this round. Maybe try and wait for further utility. His move. Shot that comes in. It's so far, so yet, an information play. You've got the operator towards mid, so you know that there is no players in that mid section. You've got the drone in. You get all these sound cues. You can see that there is a snake bite to actually force off Emo from his position. Sai actually gets a nice frag. He's actually looking for more as well. Blackhawk is in deep enemy territory. He's gonna find Sam. Equal round and completely being devastated. Venom will be found completely with his pants down. Blackhawk shuts him down. Hyper does get away, but it looks very difficult for him to survive.
Hyper under 18 HP. He's got his teammate Rix alive at 48, but for how long can you keep yourselves alive? Not too long. Sai is playing the role of the Grim Reaper, and Wimp is gonna add on to it, as both of these players are on top of their scoreboards with 18 and 15 respectively, and they are slowly but surely building up momentum. Winning 2 yet again after losing 2 themselves. They are going to come back and try to make this work. Yet again, M42 have a bye, but if they lose this, that's going to mean level score lines for the side of Orgless 5. And that's exactly what they're looking for. Sai's aggression seemed to work for him in the last 2 rounds, and if he continues to do so in a different manner, a different aggression, it could be working further on as well. Sai, yet again, finds a beautiful kill onto Emo. Rix will take him down towards mid, as he got a little bit too jumpy, but he's probably done his job, and now it's up to the rest of his teammates to find these remaining kills. Venom down to 58, will have to retreat, cannot take these fights any longer on his lonesome. He has backup in the support of Rix, but the one thing that M42 have done right now is leave the A side for free, and they are going to be playing on the retake. And given all of this, there is also a revive available, which I think is what they're focusing on, because they know that Blackhawk might go to revive Sai here.
Exactly right, and there are 3 players in position. You've got Hyper coming in through as well. The wall and the poison cloud will be really important for him. Takes down Rix in the process. It kind of feels a little too greedy. Hyper is gonna up-drop the bomb.
Why?
Find him. You knew that there were players there, right? One player just got revived. There's Blackhawk still in position. Why would he have to do that? But he still did, and Hyper paid the price for it. Gets completely
30
punished.
seconds left.
God Vexy towards that A side. He's got the spike with him as well. Sam just trying to hold on to the situation. Will get the first shot, will get the first peek. Gets the Hacker in the process, but God Vexy as well as Sai just delete the rest of M42 Esports. What a way to come back, 9 and 10 so far. And Sai is actually hitting some amazing shots so far. Like every single time he's been able to get that man advantage, but every single time he's also been traded off as well. University to keep in mind.
That's exactly why he's on top of the scoreboard. 20 kills for him. 20 kills for Rix as well, actually, being the killjoy. And Wimp is not too far behind himself. He's got 16. And this is such a great level of competition between these two teams. I love it. 9 and 10. The scoreline is probably going to be 10 and 10 at the end of this round. Not going to be taking too long for the side of Orgless Fire to make their first impact. And Sai, within first 3 seconds, finds an impactful frag. Opens up the A side. And that's pretty much round, I think, confirmed here, Salty.
Exactly, this round has probably been confirmed. There's nothing that can save M42 right now. Of course, it is an equal round. You're gonna see a lot more Sheriff action, and one by one, these bodies are gonna fall. Shock darts, recon darts might come in, but it will be rendered useless. 4th kill, 5th kill kind of snatched away by Blackhawk and God Vexy, but that's fine. All they want right now is rounds, and they've completely taken off so much pressure from their shoulders. Look at this, like, they were at around like what, 5 to 10 or 6 to 10. Like, it was 6 to 10 at a time, and it meant like there was so much job that was yet to be done from Orgless 5. They absorbed in that pressure. M42 Esports, they were rolling off the competition. They stopped their momentum, and now momentum is theirs, and that is one of the reasons why M42, they are forced to take a tactical timeout.
Indeed. It's a good time to take it, honestly. I would have hoped they would have taken it a couple of more rounds ago. Or at least if the side of the side of Orgless 5 would have taken it a couple of rounds ago. But they stabilized, and looks like they have made the way back to the top, and they are going to be able to compete for the map of Icebox, which, by the way, again, is Orgless 5's pick. And them giving away this much ground to M42 was something that I did not expect, but I'm glad that M42 are putting up a show that we are watching them put up right now, and they are competing and trying to fight out for the 2 points that they will get from this, or at least a bare minimum of 1. Not going down without a single point is going to be the worst case scenario for them, the worst start for them, because last season wasn't too great for M42 either. And this time around, they do not want to repeat that same record. They want that win. And with this timeout, side of M42 should have an idea about what they want to do. And it looks like it's going to be an A stack. Look at this here, Salty. Nobody's towards B. One person's running there right now. That's Hyper. The B side, that's a little reckless. Too many decision makings in the time span of the last couple of seconds might just spoil the broth for them. Too many cooks here. But there's also a good one thing about this side. Too many players here could stop this attack from the side of Orgless 5. But what they don't know is that Sai is absolutely on a rampaging mood right now. He's got up everything under control. Rix might have taken out Blackhawk, but here's Emo getting another. M42 are stabilizing, they're finding ground, and they're finding kills as well.
They definitely are. Sam coming in with a shot dart, trying to create an advantage, trying to create some opening for his team. Godvax, he's sprays him down 3v3 right now. There is a resurrection possible, but at this situation, it would be way too difficult. You can see Snake Bites coming in, clears off the entirety of screens, and the only avenue where Team M42 can come back from is going to be the window on rafters. What can they possibly do? Will they go in for a retake, or will they just give up this round in order to save their weapon so far? You can see Hyper already making late maneuvers. You can see Emo trying to go in for a resurrection, but that was a bad decision. Wim peeks out, takes him down. Hyper with an operator, takes down God Vexy, and now he's the only warrior who's left 1v2 so far. Can he pull this off? He's got smokes available. He's got some up drops as well. Peeks out, spots out the turret, and maybe now making the decision to disengage.
Well, he's going to have to run back. There's obviously no chance of him winning this round after time has gone far so beyond his control. Wimp is coming to find his kill. He does not expect him to be around this ledge. And that's going to mean his demise. One player surviving on each team, but it is another round that the side of Orgless 5 will add on. 11 to 10, back in the lead, and this is exactly what they need.
Perfect storyline from them. It's actually poetic the way they came back from the brink of death, because 6 to 10 wasn't an easy scoreline to actually come back from. To be honest, if you speak of the mother of all comebacks universe, we saw a comeback from 11-1 to 14-12 yesterday.
Yep.
That was the mother of all comebacks, but this one is still doable, and Team Orgless 5, they're actually pulling this back, and I love this. M42, what will they be? what will they do so far? Because every single strategy that they've tried to deploy has been rendered useless by this one man that is Sai. He pushes up, he dismantles your defense, pushes back the rest of the defenders. He takes 1 or 2 guys with him. That's fine. He gets traded off, but at least he's broken the defense apart, and now your site has been ripped open. And there's no way you can actually sugarcoat that. There's no way you can still repair it, because the entirety of the attacking team, after the fall of Sai, has made their way in, and there's no way you can actually push back 4-5 players who are in post-on positions already. This time, the Orgless 5 take this really slow. No aggression coming in from Sai. Instead of an owl drone, we get to see a complete picture of what the defense looks like. Rix hasn't been spotted yet. Blackhawk will push up, is still trying to get for a safe position. Plant takes a lot of damage with an out-of-smoke grenade, but at least he goes away and restabilizes himself.
Hyper on the backstab is already finding impact frags, and he's taken out 1, and that's Sai. And this is going to be a problem. Wimp and Blackhawk need to be the heroes yet again for this one. For them to find their final round, the penultimate round. But here's a lockdown trying to stop it all from happening. Rix, he is fighting with his life on the line here. As Hyper, he's gonna hold down the back lines. He's gonna get taken down for sure. But Orgless 5 are not yet out of this. There's a defuse coming in. Here's the ultimate, and he's gonna not be able to stick it here. Venom will go down. Rix comes in, but he's gonna get taken up by Godvexy as well. But what? They stuck the defuse.
Godvexy!
I need a bottle of water. My god.
Dude, the fact that Godvexy found 3 kills for himself but still could not secure the round, I have no clue what happened in the final third of the game, because I was so lost. I was more lost than Baby Girl, if you guys don't know the reference.
No,
That's a meme reference from a while back, but that's fine. That's fine. We're going to talk about the game 11-11, the scoreline, and M42 Esports is still in the game universe, and I love this. I love the competition.
The one time Salty makes jokes.
And he makes jokes like these.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Right now, what shouldn't be a joke is this approach towards the B side. The spike is here, and 3 players from the side of Orgless 5. As Sai yet again with the operator wanting to make an impact. Venom is holding down a Spectre because their economy isn't that great. And we can see Rix playing on with an Ares as well. And Hyper, for now, a glass cannon warrior. As M42 have stacked up on this side with 3 players as well. There is a push coming in yet again from Hyper from A. And this is information countless. All he needs now is to find this 1 kill onto Wimp, and that's probably going to be the end of this round. But he's not going to be able to, because he needs to push up. Blackhawk down to 2 HP. He's got a little bit of DK that he's going to let go of. And it's all onto Sai now. Gets the kill, but immediately traded off. Revive available for the defense that they are going to be going for. And it's Wimp's job to try and stop it. He's going to get... Hyper. Just in time, though. Godvexy's taken out Emo, the danger man's gone. The one person who could bring this on back in their favor as Hyper comes in, picks up a Vandal, wants to fight for this round. 2 versus 3. This is the do or die round for either of these teams. More so for M42 because the economy is in shambles. Sam trying to stick it towards the half-line mark. Is not going to be allowed to. And the side of M42 are going to now have to swim out from the deepest ends of the oceans to win this map. Because they have no money, no reserves, nothing left to fight this one out. And Orgless 5 might have just edged them out right now, right here, Salty.
Exactly. The pressure, the atmospheric pressure at Mariana Trench is going to be paramount for them to bear at this point. Mariana Trench is literally the deepest trenches of the ocean. The deepest that man can go under the water, and it feels like Team M42 are in that same region as well, because the pressure on them is just going to be so high. They don't have weaponry. They've got to play with sheriffs. To make this an overtime is going to be a miracle. And Sai once again with his blades of death, just like you call it, universe, he's moving forward, spots down Venom. He's got 1 information at least. The lockdown has been initiated. They're pulling in everything that they've got. Orgless 5 won this victory desperately because this is their map pick, and they they don't really want to give it up to Team M42 Esports. There is a Marshall in deploy. There are Viper walls. There is smokes as well. Sage wall. Every precaution has been taken. And here comes the Viper spit. The extra layer of security. The insurance policy for them to actually win this round and win this map as well. Venom trying to push forward. Gets the first knock. Gets the first peek as well. This is good stuff. Godvexy brings one back. Can he get the second one? Not really. Godvexy is the one who streams. Emo finds one back. Resurrection available with him as well. Ares can actually go Berwin, not really. Sai pushes him down. Riggs finds one frag, but through the woodworks, this is Wim who actually secures the victory for the side of Team Orgless 5. And what a game we had. Woo!
My God, goodness gracious me, what a game this was.
This was a different level, to be honest, Universe, because I have no clue what just happened throughout this game so far. It's like it was back and forth and back and forth. I love the fact that M42, they came back. Last season's performance was different. This season they look like a different outfit, and even after not really having the best of days, you saw that Venom is still trying to motivate the rest of his team so that they can come back in the next map. Of course, that map is going to be their home pick. They love to be on the map of Haven, and maybe on the map of Haven they will be able to find some resurgency. But this performance was something else, to be honest, because when they were 6-10, I felt like M42 Esports, that was their prime that I witnessed.
Yeah, I have to say the same as well. I think that when we saw that happen, I think that they probably were going to be running away with this map, or at least, with it. If not with, run away with it, they would at least walk through it. 13-10, 13-11. That's what I expected. But in the end, it had to be Orgless 5 coming back from that scoreline. 8-4 down they were in the first half. They came back from it, and boy, oh boy, what a performance it was in that second half from them, winning round after round after round, not giving away too much, not giving away, as much as they needed. They just, had that much. It was like a level up to where they were allowed to give away, and that's how much they did as well. Sometimes not even that much, because Sai was on a roll, man. Sai was the absolute beast that he could be today. Let's have a look at the highlights while we go back and relive throughout those moments, because the first half was actually not that translatory of what this entire match was. First half was pretty great. M42 did a great job of holding up their, side of the bargain and making sure that they find themselves the advantages that they wanted. Orgless 5, with the first 4 rounds that they put up, looked like they were going to probably find this first half in their favor itself. But M42 did a great job of trying to gamble it all, throw the money in the face of Orgless 5 and say, we're here to play. And that's exactly what happened. But the minute the second half started, that's when the real fight began. The pistol round, the round following that, and then Orgless 5 gave away 2 rounds. I mean, not intentionally, obviously, but they did give away 2 rounds, which had to come in to give the fuel to the fire that Orgless 5 were going to find, and then put up 6 rounds in a row to find themselves, take the lead, find match point, and eventually win this damn series itself.
Maybe, but that's still far away, because M42 Esports, they still have their home ground available to them, and that's going to be the map of Haven. And I really want to see how they perform on that map, because Icebox was pretty decent, dude. Like, if you think about strategy, if you think about like the approach to this game, we saw some really nice approaches from both the teams so far. Like, if you look at Orgless 5, you will always find Sai trying to create that advancement, trying to create that positioning for the rest of his team to move in. That wasn't really the case with M42. They kind of had to go through multiple phases. Like, there was one moment where I still remember Riggs putting out that lockdown so that he can make Team Orgless 5 also use their lockdown as well, which kind of facilitated their push towards the B side. And a lot of these little things kind of helped them win the first half. But then when it actually came to the second half, there was Orgless 5 who just literally ran away with it. Just like you mentioned, right at the brink of death, they kind of activated themselves up. Sai became a completely different man. He was continuously pushing out. Like, you remember Sai was sort of struggling in the mid-game phase where he was constantly getting taken down by Riggs or maybe Sam or somebody like that. Venom too was also hitting a lot of his crisp shots, but I finally nailed the word crisp. Apart from that, just in the final third of the game, Sai was like, all right, I'm going to take responsibility for your entry. I'm the solo duelist and I'm going to make this work. And every single time, he doesn't even use his utility. He just pushes in, uses his guns to bag the first kill, establishes man advantage, tries to go in for as much as he possibly can. He gets a 1, sometimes he gets 2, he probably gets 3 sometimes as well. It does not matter if he gets those entry frags. He does get traded off, but by the time he gets traded off, the job has been done already.
Yeah, it most certainly has. And now that we are going towards the second map, which is going to be Haven, by the way, M42, that is their pick. They are going to have to work harder than they have on the map of Icebox, because Orgless 5 are not a team that gives up, clearly. They will not be giving up until their last breath, and they will not be showing any signs of slowing down, because they want to solidify this victory. They want their first win, their first match in the Gauntlet Season 4. Went down with a loss. They did bring up one map where they won it all out, got the 1 point that they deserved, but here they're looking to go on top of the table with 3 points, all intact, not giving away anything at all. Let's find out whether or not that's going to work out, though. But for now, this is the end of Icebox, as Orgless 5 will win their map pick, and we are going to be seeing whether or not they can shut this down as 2-0. Looking at the scoreboard, though, as expected, Sai on top of things. 27 kills for the man, 20 for God Rexy, 20 for Wimp, 15 for Blackhawk, and 10 for Hacker, as everybody chimes in. Hacker was a little reckless at times in the beginning, where we saw him going all alone. Some things that were just not needed for him to do. But it's okay. His teammates supported him throughout, and towards the end of the game, he too became an important part of his team's play, because his utility was what was helping them the most, and Sai just made the most of every single bit of his aim, his map movement, his map control, and his movement as well. Whereas on the other side of things, Rix, the Killjoy, is leading the charge with 23, Hyper with 18, Venom, Emo, and Sam with 14, 11, and 10. Overall, a great team performance from both sides, but it was Orgless 5 to edge it out with a little bit of individual brilliance, touching down with the teamwork.
Exactly, there was teamwork, there was individual performance. Maybe Hyper kind of chimed in with a lot of kills, and for it Esports, they could have been on the other end of the spectrum, on the other end of victory here. But with all said and done, I feel like for M42 Esports, this was a good start. This was sort of a start where they can kind of start analyzing what actually went wrong, which rounds, which they shouldn't really have lost, but still lost in the process, and they may be able to counteract on that on the next map as well. Haven is coming back after a very short break, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the L3 Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our apparel partners are 656. We'll come back after a very short break. Don't go anywhere.
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LG Ultragear presents TC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial and apparel partner 656. Well, as long as backside jokes keep happening, everyone's gonna have a purpose to live in this world. So does Salty, because he loves listening to some words that I have to say. But hey, you guys are here to listen to what we have to say about the game. So let's dive in, as we've got the first match done and dusted. As it was a beautiful scene, that's for sure, for the side of Orgless 5. And we are going to the map of Haven now, as M42 have picked up this map, and they are hoping to win this one out and take us to the map of Split and hopefully find their first victory in the TEC Gauntlet. Salty, what are your thoughts about Haven? What do you think is going to happen?
To be honest, this is a new M42 esport that I've seen so far in the map of Icebox. For them, this will be the first time that I would see them on Haven, right? I mean, the new M42 esport. So I kind of feel like there is a lot of potential. There is a room for growth. The fact that they took Icebox to 11 and 13 against Orgless 5, which they are really good at, I feel like they do have a chance on the map of Haven. But considering the fact that there were players from Orgless 5 who were really on tight form. Like you look at Sai, you look at God Vexy, these players, they were riding high in terms of getting their momentum, in terms of just pushing in and getting those frags. I feel like there is a lot of potential for the side of Team Orgless 5 when they push out for attack, right? And they will be starting on defense. So there's an opportunity for M42 Esports to get this for themselves. But we've seen the map of Haven turn into a defensive sided map really quickly, right? And if M42 can't really find the chunks in the armor that Orgless 5's defense possess, then there are going to be problems. For Orgless 5 to win this series, there's a very short route to just win the map of Haven right then and there. For M42 Esports, the journey is going to be really long, and they need to start right from the get-go, like to get the first half of the next game in their bag, and then look forward to closing the game as soon as possible.
Yeah, but we've seen that even though they get the first half in the bag, it's still not going to be enough for them. They need to keep pushing on, they need to keep pushing hard, and they need to find themselves to not let go of that groove no matter what. they did find an 8-4 half in the first map of Icebox, and eventually that led to their demise in the end because Orgless 5 were just that good at picking up their skills and moving it straight on towards a finish line of 13-11. Now, Haven is going to be a lot more concise. It's going to be a lot more strategic in the way that we need to play. There's not as many open spaces, a lot of corners. It works from both ends on attack and on defense. We've seen this map being played either way, but more so attack a little bit. I'd say 55 attack, 45 defense. And that might just work out in the favor of M42 Esports just because they are starting on the attack. And
Yeah.
eventually, if Hyper is able to find himself getting a lot more first kills, the first bloods that we all know that the duelists get, if he's able to find it a lot more frequently than it in the map of Icebox, then it is going to be great. Because just to give it on the perspective, Sai had 11 first bloods in the first map of Icebox, and Hyper had 1. So that is a huge jet diff right there, which needs to be sorted out pretty soon by Hyper because he needs to get back into this game. And he did have 18 kills. I'm not going to lie. He did have good, kills coming in throughout the game. But in terms of him giving an impact as a Jet is something that he needs to do by getting the first blood and dominating and terrorizing his opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned a very interesting fact. Haven, on paper, we always talk about Haven like this whenever it comes up in the map veto, that there are 3 sides, right? You have the A, you have the B, and you have the C side for yourself to venture out, right? You've also got entry points in the form of sewers, you've got entry points in the form of garage, and so much and so forth. The attackers on paper should have so much variables that they can use. We'll talk about that even further later on, but right now we've got the agent selection lined up in front of us. And I'm really excited to find out which agents these guys are going to be playing. Look at this. You've got Venom on his default Astra. There is no surprise. Hyper is going to be playing the Jet. We expect a double initiator, to be honest. So Emo might actually be picking up the KO or the Breach. We've seen M42 do this before. Can be a little problems because without a Sage, it can all I feel like the Sage is probably an agent who should play the map of Haven, considering that you can block off certain entry points and ease the pressure on yourself. But nonetheless, we'll move on to the other team, that is Orgless 5. You've got Blackhawk on Breach. No surprises there. He does play the Breach in the new lineup occasionally. Sai, of course, will play the Jet. There is no surprise there as well. Hacker has actually shuttling between the second initiator and the Astra. He eventually will pick up the Astra, and God Vexy, of course, there's no surprises on the Sova. So we have seen the lineups from both the teams, and it looks like they're sort of mirror lineups because you basically have a double initiator in the form of a Sova and a Breach. You also have a controller in the form of an Astra, and you've got Jets on either side. The only difference is a Cypher for a KJ. I don't think it makes a very big difference. So I feel like both the lineups are also pretty similar, just like we saw on the map Icebox. It just comes out to who uses it better. And speaking of the map in itself, Universe, we were talking about how the Haven map is sort of like attacking on paper. But then when you look at it from a statistical point of view, we get to see that on defense, teams are much more comfortable and they're getting results than on attack.
Yeah.
And I really don't have any possible answers for this because I've tried to explain myself that maybe the attackers are sort of spoiled for choices. They have a lot of options to venture out, and that creates problems, and there's no distinction or there's no ideas where exactly they want to go. Maybe that can be the reason, but then literally speaking, I'm just punching in thin air, so I have no clue.
Yeah, I think that, the way that this map works is that when you find a groove on attack, it kind of goes on. But when you find a groove on defense, you need to keep working on it because the attack is what throws you off. You can have different defensive setups, but if one team just decides to randomly move straight towards A with no remorse whatsoever, that's when you get thrown off. And here's the first one starting up. Hyper had spotted out the Killjoy Wimp. He is going to be just giving up that information to his teammates, as M42 on the attack are going to have to find Sai, who with one bullet has just taken out the spike from the hands of Sam and his head as well. And he's waiting for more. He might just get his... Oh my god, Sai! You disgusting man! Looking for more. Misses a couple of them. Will get his head blown off instead, but that's probably going to be it for him. He's done pretty much what he needed to do, as Wimp will take out Rix, and that's going to be in a 4 versus 2. Without any work whatsoever in terms of utility, the side of Orgless 5 have found themselves around that I think should be coming in very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just one guy surviving, Emo, trying to hide from the flash through smoke, trying to at least survive for as long as he can. But the start of the game was just so good to watch. You saw Sai getting 2 quick frags for himself, once again just carrying the momentum that he had from the last game itself. This is one of the reasons why I kind of preferred Orgless 5 for this match. Like, even if there's the map
30
pick is
seconds
for
left.
Team M42, the kind of high that Team Orgless 5 are riding right now might just see them through. There's just one guy surviving, Emo. Even he's been spotted. He does have the aftershock to probably push off God Vexy from that position, but I don't think it's a very worthy usage in this situation. He does get the ding on God Vexy. He does get the stun on him as well, but Blackhawk finally trades him out. It's basically null. It's basically null and void so far, so everything that he did couldn't really give him results. Now, first round for Orgless 5 to start off with, and you have a side of M42 Esports who are sort of struggling for information. Now, there are 2 patterns which I observed just from the first round itself, which is very less time to kind of observe a team, but then still we can put it forth. There's no utility, just like you mentioned. There was no sort of progression towards real estate. They did not want to aggress further and get some real estate. All that they wanted was no information, but just kills. And in the attempt of getting information, they got taken down.
Oh, Sam, he found a great kill. 2 players playing with a pistol here could mean to be a little bit demeaning. But Sai is going to be able to find another kill.
Spike down mid.
Wimp will
He does
take
not
out
expect
Riggs.
us.
Remaining.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes, Sai going in the window. Okay. A little too pushy for his own good.
Pushy.
Okay, Sam. That was a little freaky, but he's going to be able to take down 3 players. And that is a great recovery from Sam. M42 dropping 3 weapons, of whom were pistols, I'll give you that. But still, they're going to be able to buy up now, as Sai has the operator in his hands in the 3rd round. And this is exactly what the side of Orgless 5 need to keep on pushing their pressure onto the side of M42. Just because M42, they are giving them respect, and Sai is taking all of it. He's like, give it to me, I'll keep it, and I want all more of what you can give, and we'll keep pushing you until the point you can't take it. And now,
Yeah.
well, they're facing the repercussions of it, M42. They need to be careful.
Absolutely. Sai once again pushing up. He's got support with Cage as well. So if there's somebody pushing up, trying to maybe get Sai, the advantage is not going to be theirs because there will be trades happening. Riggs is going to peek outside. He's going to get the frag for himself. Nice work done, and he immediately falls back. See, the discipline, right? There is aggression, of course, but the discipline that we get to see from this man is just unmatched. Now, initially, Sai was known as Sai Dreams. Now he's got his name called Baby Sai. Maybe Universe is giving them more options. Maybe he's going to name himself Pushy Sai after some time. Nice name, Universe, by the way. But Blackhawk finds M42 in his back of his head. Sai finds another one of his jet devs right there. Hyper has been taken off. Emo has been taken down as well. Venom, the only one who has been flashed as well and peaked. He was taken down as well. The 3rd round, which was so important for M42, just did not really work their way. And this is exactly why I think that Haven is sort of so good for the defenders. You look like the attackers without proper utility, without proper set piece executes. It's just so hard to get their way into one side. They are not given a single sort of real estate. Sai is closing them out. There's Blackhawk who is closing them out. Every single facet of entry point has been blocked and turned into choke points, where if Team M42 try and force them, they will eventually die, and that is exactly what happened.
Amazing shot by Sam. Absolutely obliterates. Sai and Blackhawk will go down as well. Hyper gets it.
Mid.
But Wimp is here to stabilize stuff. He's not going to let that operator get out of his sights, as he's holding down even the B side. Hyper wants that operator, but he's going to have to fight for it. He has picked it up. And here's one man who's coming in, but Wimp!
Enemy remaining.
He takes down both of them all by his lonesome, and wants the last one as well. He's hungry, but he's not going to be able to take him out. Rix is the last man standing. He's got a Phantom to work with. He's got 65 HP, but out in the open, he takes out his camera. And just like that, it's going to be him being spied upon and him being killed. 4-0, and the side of Orgless 5 have a brilliant start on Haven.
The most important thing in that round was that God Vexy secured the operator once again in a buy round. Sai can actually use this operator and get a lot of kills right off the get-go. I'm not sure if he's going to push out once again because right now the other team, that is M42, they've sort of got conditioned themselves that Sai will be peeking out and maybe they have a contingency plan against him. But the fact that they haven't been able to make any sort of entry so far is problematic because you look at their progression, they're moving outside A main and they're getting taken down. They're moving towards B or garage, they're getting taken down as well. They're moving towards C long, they're getting taken out. Every single attempt for entry has been blocked off, and that is not really a good sign for an attacking team so far. Even though they have got options, every single option is not right so far. Hyper as well as Emo will try and work out this B execute possible. There is an outrose, gives them some sort of information that they're completely waiting outside that mid territory. Now, in situations like these, I kind of expect the defending teams to sort of push out the A and the C long corridors, but this time Hacker goes into his yoga pose in a very long time and Hyper kind of punishes him for it. You've got a drone which tries to scout out the A corridor locations, but that will not give them enough information to help them.
Corner is going to be safe. He's not going to be attacked by that nano swarm, and Wimp gets away from there as the B side has been left open. And this lockdown kind of unnecessary for Wimp. I don't know why he went for it, but he expected them to come towards C, but it looks like it might just work out for him. As there is one backstab coming in. Hyper, he will take down the player and the lockdown as well. Here's another kill for him. Hyper with the third is on for the ace as well, unless Rix wants it. No! Blackhawk and God Vexy, they've done it all. That's all he needs. And it's over. He's going to take out here Venom, and that's going to be the end of the round right there. Blackhawk, all you need to do, my friend, is survive, but he's even going to blind up Emo. I'm gonna make him wonder what the hell just happened.
Dude, the only mistake that M42 did was leaving the spike back there. Hyper made so much ground moving into enemy territory, coming in from CT and getting this spike, getting the ultimate, the lockdown, getting the KJ, getting the jet is not an easy feat, but he did that so comfortably. The round was secured. It was in their bags, but it was snatched away because they made one error, and that was leave the spike out there. Emo and his timing was not Emo, it was Blackhawk, pardon me for that. Blackhawk, his timing was so pristine that he finds this Hyper, the spike has been dropped, the tripwires have been deactivated, and now with 10 seconds on the clock, he has an ultimate to work with. There's no way he can get back the round from that brink of death. It was, I don't know, man. Like, it was catastrophic for M42 to actually see that happen, because it's not every day you find so much space in the enemy territory, and Hyper exploited all that space to get those 3 kills. But at the end of it all, he just couldn't take advantage of it because of one small error. What will they be thinking? What might they be thinking right now, Universe? Like, what can they possibly do? 5-0, not the best of starts.
Well, the best that they can do is probably play fire against fire. Because so far, the way that the side of M42 have been playing is respect, give a little bit of, play a little calm. I want to see them throw in the spanner across the board a little bit. Go ahead and be a little aggressive. Go ahead and find fights right up in front of your faces. And then show that the side of Orgless 5 cannot take whatever they want, because that's exactly what's happening. Oh, Sai. He's probably going to be able to take down this player here. But he's going to be tacked up. He's looking for more. He's not afraid. And this is exactly what even the side of M42 should be doing. Not be afraid of taking fights. Hyper.
Yeah.
Getting up close. Gonna get... Not gonna get tagged, but it will be spotted out. As Sai is still holding his ground. This man is unrelenting. He's blinded. He doesn't care. Look! He hasn't... He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's basically the stud in Valorant.
Clearly.
I don't care. But looking at M42 so far, they've kind of run down the clock way too much. Hacker finds a completely unaware Venom. A lot more players will try and pressure him, but will he be able to survive? Phantoms not really working. He's been dazed completely. Rix finds the trade, but the spike is still not traveling anywhere. Hyper finds the ground in the enemy territory once again. He's found the site, the A site completely open, and he's relayed that information. The operator, a little, for a fraction of a second, and Wim knows exactly that right outside him. This is going to be the Cypher. Riggs takes him down. But Sai, his position has been revealed. But he knows that there is Sova as well. What a round it is turning out to be. You've got the Cypher, you've got the Breach, and now you've got the Sova as well.
They
do have the
Seconds
time.
left.
They do have the time, but God Vexy might just be able to protect them.
Oh, he's done it!
It's done. It's done.
B.
All they need to do is stay alive, and Sai, he might have missed a shot, but he's not missed a round. 6-0, and a clean record, clean slate here for the side of Orgless 5 as they keep on moving ahead. M42, like I said, being a little too cautious, being a little too, respectful. You need to go ahead and sometimes shove your weapons in the faces of your opponents and fire the bullets point blank. And tell them that it's not going to be them dominating this game.
Exactly, and if you look at their past, the only kills that they've got was to try and shove their weapons at their faces. You remember the one time when Hyper pushed up, you remember the one time when Riggs pushed up towards Garage, all those kills actually came down because they tried to go aggressive, and this probably might be the time to get aggressive. Hyper tried to take the fight to Sai, and he actually succeeds. There is one smoke that can push back this attack, but I feel like Blackhawk is in a fine position to actually shut them down. If his position gets revealed, that can be problematic, but I feel like there is a disengagement so far. They're not moving towards B, they're sort of falling back and might actually fancy another side for themselves.
Well, they know that there's probably somebody on B right now, just because of the fact that the last time around they left it open. So Orgless 5 are careful, but they've lost their main man in the form of Sai. This time, going towards A lot of footsteps being given away, and Blackhawk is choosing to think about rotating, but here's got Vexy holding on the lines, but he's only going to be able to good for one. Here's Blackhawk, wants to find the first kill, blinds them all a little bit. But he's found one player dropped down from heaven. Now he knows that one's right under him, and one's probably on side, and he's going to find the one towards shot. Sam goes straight flying down to the ground. As now in this 3v3, there is one major ultimate available, and that is on the attack, by the way. They've got the Rolling Thunder, and Emo could be tempted to use it, as he is going to maybe. There he goes, but he's been blinded. It's only about time. They just need to hold off. Back to the senses they come, and it's all about this crossfire, which is beautifully set up. M42 find their first round, finally, after giving away 6.
Damn. This round was really good. This round was absolutely good. The fact that this kind of paid off is a little surprising. It's not always that all the defenders are coming in from one entry point and you can take them down with a single crossfire, but at least M42 were lucky. And it's also so important for us to be lucky to get your first round, and maybe after that, when you get the momentum, when you break opposition's momentum, you have the opportunity to kind of climb up even further. M42, for them, they did use their Rolling Thunder, they did use flashes as well, and everything sort of resulted them in getting this round for themselves. But can they get even more? Because they need a lot more of these rounds to actually get back into the game so far. Sai has sort of been spotted and dazed as well. A little problematic, but none of these M42 players are gonna push out to maybe capitalize on that kill. Recon moves in, slowly treading towards that A main territory, trying to check every single corner, every single angle meticulously. Just like you mentioned, Evers, I feel like there should be some form of aggression, but today M42, they have sort of decided to do something completely different.
Sai holding down towards A all by his lonesome now. He's got support towards A shot though, but this is nowhere where M42 are going. They want to head towards B. They've got Blackhawk over here against them. There's a blind coming in. There's the stun, but it's not going to be hitting too many people. Just one. That's Sam. As Blackhawk needs to find this kill. He will. Running to his death was Eno. As Godvexy picks up hyper skill, and that's now a 4 versus 2. That Rix and Venom make that a 4 versus 1, as Rix is the only one alive. He might have an operator in his hands, but he's got no ground to cover. The spike is far beyond his reach, and his life is just numbered right now. If Sai wants to go on the hunt, that is.
Exactly. The fact that all those 3 players were brought down in a matter of seconds, the fact that the flash did not connect coming in from Rix, it just boiled down to Blackhawk getting that frag, stucking himself in right behind the smoke. He used the smoke so perfectly. I mean, the smokes from opposition, smokes to try and prevent players coming in from A connector and C connector. But the fact that Blackhawk used it to his advantage to try and hide himself in and disguise his presence, that was just so good to watch. And immediately in a flash of light, in the snap of finger, we saw 3 of those players die down. Every single kill came in from 3 different regions. There were players coming in from A connector who got 1 kill, coming in from C connector, got 1 kill, God Vexy was there, got a kill, and Blackhawk was there to nail the final nail in the coffin. At the end of that series, at the end of that battle, 2 players just find themselves in the middle of nowhere. So basically, when the 3 players died down, Team M42 had nothing to do, and Team Orgless once again get back on the train and get back to getting more rounds for themselves. 7-1 the scoreline. This has to be the opportunity that M42 utilize to move further. They've got weapons to work with. They're not necessarily in a very hard eco. This is probably going to be their last opportunity.
Yeah, more or less. Ty and Rix just inches away from each other. Crosshairs going to be exchanged in just a couple of seconds, but the point of this duel is that there's probably going to be a trade on one side. If Sai does fall, there's going to be a trade, and it's going to be good for the side of Orgless 5. But if Rix dies, there's going to be no trade. And that is going to be a problem because tripwire is being destroyed, no cam value, nothing, as they are going towards C, and this is a problem. Sai's taking him out, and like I said, this is going to be an issue. Hyper will take down Sider, but what they don't know is that Wimp is still here. Wimp is still causing damage. Wimp with his position
1 enemy remaining.
is working for the side of Orgless 5 as Blackhawk will capitalize, and 8-1 the scoreline comes up.
Dude, this was nice. This was nice. I love the fact that you mentioned 2 players pushing up towards the C long, because that was the turning point. Nobody checked Wimp's position. Nobody knew that there was another guy who was in cubby. He just peeks out, takes down a completely unaware, I believe it was Evo, and then the rest of the players just fall one by one. It was just so good to watch. You see, they deployed an Astral Divide as well. So the attacking team M42, they used ultimates, but to no use, because at the end of the day, people should just come in through the wall and just get them down one by one. Shy with the operator just waiting for these people to peek. The smoke kind of helps him, and Hyper gets one onto God Vexy, but that's okay because Blackhawk and Sai, they've traded 2 out instead. Sai knows exactly where Emo is triggered right now. The aftershock will prevent the push, but there is no push because players from Team M42, they've already made their way towards A connector. Look at this. This can be devastating. If they get these 2 kills, I believe this can turn into an advantage for them. Venom coming in with a big brain play, spots out the gun barrel of Sai and knows exactly where Blackhawk is, gets the first knock, gets the first kill, and here it comes. Emo gets Sai, and this basically is Sai giving up, compromised to Team M42, and they can make this work.
What a leaving that B side open after so many rounds that they've gone without giving proper smoke so far has actually helped M42. They have gone towards the B side time and time again, not finding success, but this time just lurking around with 2 players has given them their second round. M42 will find another round to live with, and especially them having this base of trying to work with their pistols. A Thrifty coming in, confidence a little bit given, but not too much. They still have a long way to go. Making this an 8-4 half is what their main goal should be, but whether or not that goal is going to be achieved is a very, very difficult question to be answered right now, because M42 might have stopped Orgless 5 for 1 round, but they're not going to make that same mistake again. This time they're not going to let B stay quiet. Sai's already here. He's got the operator. He's pushing up towards mid as well. And look at the amount of map control that they've already got.
Exactly, and it's also not just about map control. Look at the ultimate situation. They've got 5 ultimates to work with, and Blackhawk has already used 1, and now he's going to stop them dead on their tracks. There's just Hyper, who can't really do anything about it. He almost tinks out Sam, but that's okay because Sam survives the onslaught, gets Blackhawk in return. 1 player has been taken down, and there's massive advantage for the attackers to use right now because the defensive setup will be split so thin right now. Every single facet will be dedicated 1 player, and they can possibly make it a 5v1 effectively if they push correctly.
M42 playing this a little slow. They have got time to play with, but it's slowly dwindling down to the last couple of seconds of this round. Seaside looking as the point of attraction as Wimpia is ready to take on the fight. They're waiting for the callouts here. Venom throws down his stars. There comes the Cosmic Divide to defend it though, as the side of Orgless 5 already have defensive measures in place. It's across the entire map, and Sai is gonna be having a shooting gallery. Make that one, just a one. He's looking for more towards lower mid, but he's gonna get taken down. It's up to Godvexy. He has to stop these players from entering this side here. This Cosmic Divide is so good that it's gonna stop them across the entire map. The plant will go down respectfully as Venom is absolutely terrorizing the side of Orgless 5, finding 3 kills, and now it's up to Godvexy to defend it all by his lonesome.
Exactly, one player will be spotted. He has got Hunter's Fury to work with. He has got an owl drone. He can isolate these frags. Knows exactly where one player is, right? He probably understands where the rest of the players are. There might be a crossfire setup. It's a very default setup, especially when you know the opposition is in heaven and he's going to come in from CT. You can defend it pretty easily. So he knows where the players are. He's got a Hunter's Fury to sort of dismantle them, but he sort of chooses to not engage right now. He chooses to save that weapon and give the respect to M42. And to be honest, they deserve respect. The way Venom got those 3 kills, completely catching those players off guard from the side of Team Orgless 5, that was something which nobody expected. And Venom has not done this just once. He has found such space, such chunks in the armor, second time in a row so far. The first time he got Blackhawk as well as Sai. This time he's got 3 players, and this is massive because when such a big player from the other team finds holes in your armor just like that and finds so much space in your territory, you cannot allow to do that. And Team M42, they're being very wise. If they get to 8-4, maybe in the defensive side of things, they will be able to reverse the situation.
Hold on. Look at Godvexy. He's gonna unleash the ultimate here. And there it is. Here we go. He might touch somebody, but he's got a response coming in. Look at Blackhawk though. How is he allowed to run like that? That's simply not supposed to be possible. Blackhawk is getting a dink, but nothing more. 4 versus 2, and suddenly, an unnecessary amount of aggression is going to deny them the 9th round.
That was very, very reckless, to be very honest. But Sai, as well as Hacker, will have a lot of responsibility on their shoulder. Taking 4 players down, especially when you've got an Astral Divide on your opposition, is not easy. Sai though, his movement is really good. He's trying to cut down the attack in half. Of course, there will be one guy checking the backstab, and if Sai is not aware, he is going to get taken down, and Riggs will do that. He has punished him for his presence in that backstab region. Now it's on an Hacker. Of course, a player who hasn't really been tested yet, but we know that this guy can actually pull off clutches. He's got 2 stars available to him. He's got deployed 1 star already. The Astral Divide moves away. Smoke comes in from the opposition, but Hacker can't really make use of that. He doesn't have the leeway to move forward, but there is no utility in saving the weapon anymore because this is the last round. You've got to use everything you have to possibly make it work, but it's just not practical enough. I mean, Hacker, the maximum that he can do is probably get some exit frags for himself, but I don't think there's anything more that he's gonna get from this round itself because the time is gonna run out and his life is gonna run out as well. 8-4. I feel M42 did really well to actually come back from the brink of death, but we saw in the last match that the pattern was 8-4 and then a complete reversal of scores. Orgless 5 were the team who was on the back foot on the map of Icebox, and then they come back in the defensive side of things and completely change the round. A similar thing kind of happened, and right now I'm sort of feeling the pressure of whether team Orgless 5 will be able to keep up the tempo and keep up the sting in their attacks so that they don't just give up the lead.
Eight and 4. The one scoreline that the side of Orgless 5 would have wanted as the bare minimum going into this, and they have got it, but they could have honestly done a lot better.
Absolutely.
Now, M42 have got a good setup on A, and here's one player going to be facing off 2. Sai, he's got 1. He's got both of them, Sai! How are you allowed time and time again to do this? He runs in, he does not get the third, but he's done more than enough to give a little bit more information to his team. And the A side for completely free as well. Plant will go down. Easy givings for the side of Orgless 5 here as a 4v3 retake comes in and M42 are stuck in a dire situation to win this one in a do or die situation.
They're very stuck. Trust me, they're very stuck. They don't have utility to work this retake up, right? Look at the breach.
no.
He's completely exposed over there. Hacker is just gonna make use of that. Venom tries to peek out. Wimp and Blackhawk punish them. 4-player survive, and this has been a round and a half for Orgless 5. The win condition for M42 Esports would have always been to win the first pistol round and win the round after that. That was something Orgless 5 did correctly. But now that they have lost the pistol round, they're probably en route to win to lose the next round as well. And that just takes the game away from them that much further. 10-4 is not an easy scoreline to come back from. And for M42 Esports, I feel like problems just exponentially increase from this position on. What are they going to do? They can try and bum rush their way into one side. Yeah. But like maybe try and rush out B and maybe catch them off guard. But that probably isn't happening because they've put their utility in check.
Yeah, they have to do that. But Sai here, alone, is a one-man army that they do not want to face. He's been a spearhead of the highest quality. And he's gonna get more. No, he's not. Venom, better positioning in the smoke, is gonna find himself an easy kill. Blackhawk is holding off with this backstab along with his teammates, but he does not know that there's 3 players coming over here. Hacker, easy stretch and kill. Make that a second for Blackhawk, and Blackhawk will take down the last one standing. 10-4, as the side of Orgless 5 are looking blazing to go. Around that they would have pretty much gotten pretty easily as they did. And now is the real test that they're going to have to survive. There is going to be a full buy for M42. Rix is going to be the only one playing on the Bulldog, which is still a great weapon. But the side of Orgless 5 are going to have to play with 2 players on that Spectre. While 2 players are on Phantoms, and 1 is just on a Ghost, and that's Wimp.
M42, one opportunity for them to seek resurgency. That is going to be their weapons this round. They use the fault line. They got probably some sort of information with the shock darts coming in flying, but Sai has no stopping. This man almost has no brakes in his car. He's moving forward. The flashes come in. Hyper peeks out, gets a kill for himself. Nice work done over there. He's still trying to prevent this rush from coming in, but it seems like there's an impending rush that will always come in. It's just a matter of time. They're making their way in. Hacker and Wimp and God Vexy, they find 3 frags in quick succession. They just clean up the round and the site has been compromised. 2 players, what can they potentially do? Venom finds 1 player down. He's also defended the spike from being planted. This is good work done. And Rix trying to slowly make his way inside the site through the smoke, trying to sneaky. Wimp does find Venom before Venom found Hacker. But 1v2 right now, and there's a Vandal for exchange. Rix has a lot of responsibility, kind of knows where the positions are. There's 1 guy under heaven and there's 1 guy below the boxes. Sova, God Vexy, of course, is gonna fire up to a falling Rix. Gravity does work.
That might just be the final lane in the coffin here, so just because of the fact that this was a must-win round for the side of M42. And them not picking up this round could mean demise. And demise of the entire series, not just this map that they themselves have chosen, by the way, which they are actually performing worse on than Icebox. Which is surprising to me, just because of the fact that... Yeah, because I really thought that they would pick up Haven. And this is going to be, you know, a first for M42. The one that has been improved and reinvented. This is that stint, that kind of... a showcase of skill. Getting those kills are what we need more from M42. But right now, with a couple of sheriffs and a couple of pistols that they think is going to help them win this, is actually going to end up giving away the opponent the final round. And okay, Rix, why were you just standing there? Why?
Okay.
And now it's just just weird frags again and again.
Exactly right. Sam in a 1v3 situation pops out of the smoke, but Blackhawk pops out of his head. Good work done by Orgless 5, but M42, in spite of getting some good performances, they get some good performances and then they back it up with some really bad performances. Like that has been the name of the game. Like, I really praise the fact that Venom got some nice cheeky kills on towards the A side, on towards mid B region as well. In a couple of rounds, we saw how they actually were exposing the chunks in the armor. But when you do that in one or two round, you kind of think that you have snatched away momentum from your opposition, but instead, it doesn't really happen, and that kind of surprises you because now you got those kills, you got those rounds, but in the end of it all, you just lose more, and we're back at even Stevens. So all that good job that you have done in the middle of the game itself has all been nullified.
Hyper wants a kill towards the A main side, but nobody's there to receive a bullet from him right now, as everybody from the side of Orgless 5 are slithering their way towards C. And there could be a fight brewing in towards C long. There's two players here against two players on the other side. And Venom, he's going to use the bit of information that he gets. And the trigger discipline could just work in his favor. And he might just find two here. It's just going to be the one. No, it's going to be two. Spike is on his pavilion, but he's not going to be able to retrieve it. Wimp will take him down. That's a 3 versus 3. And here comes another push from Blackhawk. He goes straight in for it. And now in this 2v3, Blackhawk is probably going to confirm this 2v1, 3v1 with Hyper left all alone against the world of Orgless 5 players who have already brought him down to 3 HP and maybe brought him down to the ground as well. This is the end for M42 in the first map of in the first series of the season gauntlet for, ladies and gentlemen, Blackhawk to finish it all off as Orgless 5 find their first win.
Wow. M42 Esports. Good performances on Icebox kind of raised up my expectations, but Orgless 5, they come back from a very, very strong position. Like the fact that they came back from that loss against God Particles, but now they look so strong. I think Sai deserves a subway. Yeah, he absolutely does. I feel the entirety of Orgless 5 should have been given subways, to be honest. But the way they played on the map of Haven, which was the pick for the other team, Team M42, it just shows that they've got statement in them. And Sai pushing up with the Jet, the rest of the players falling up on him, Blackhawk coming up with good performances on the breach. Everything is working for Orgless 5, everything.
Yeah, it most certainly was. This map of Haven especially, it was beautiful. As let's go back to the match highlights and have a look at what exactly was up and down for the side of Orgless 5 and M42 here. Mostly up for Orgless 5, mostly down for M42 because, well, as we saw it from the beginning itself, Orgless 5 had this dominance over the game that M42 were not able to, counter at all. This was an utter and total storyline laid out and told by Orgless 5, and M42 were just listening like good little boys. There was absolutely nothing that they put on the plate here that they said, okay, you know what, maybe we should add this, maybe we should do this. No, it was just totally the dictation of Orgless 5's pace. They wanted the game to go the way they wanted to, and it did. M42 were pushed back. They did not fight, straight up head on. They did not do any sort of rushes. There were no rushes that were made, like, for example, towards B. 1 or 2 times I did see it happen, but every single time it was the slow gameplay, waiting for the opponent to make the first move, which is okay. I think it's okay. I think you can always do that. Waiting for the opponent to make the mistake is a move that might just help you out, but sometimes you have to switch up your play. You cannot always give your opponent that much respect, because if you give them that much respect, they will not just take respect, they will take map control, they will take the pace of the game, they will take your life as well, just like rounds like these. And that is exactly how Orgless 5 wanted it, and that's exactly how they were given it. They had their will and they had their say of this game, and there was nothing M42 absolutely had to say about it. It was just an Orgless 5 show top to bottom.
Yeah, true that. I mean, M42 Esports, they slowed the pace of the game way too much, and that probably may have been the reason for the demise. And Team Orgless 5, for them, it was just about waiting and winning those duels. It was just about waiting for the opportunity, because the opportunity will come. M42 never really had the control of the game, right? Even though they did control the pace of the game because they were the attacking team for the longest period of time, but even though they slowed down the attacks, they were not getting information, they were not getting proper they were not getting a proper picture of how the defense setup looks like and how they can actually break it apart. Instead, you look at the defensive rounds of Orgless 5 and you'll understand how good they were. Like on defense, the team was just stopping them every single time. Meanwhile, when they were on attack, they were piling up so much pressure on M42 Esports by pushing up. You saw time and time again Sai was pushing up through the A long corridor. He was getting kills, but he was still aggressing forward. At least you need to send one guy in to get the picture of what the defense setup looks like and how you can break it. And a player of the caliber like Sai, who has been able to get kills left and right, you really don't need anything else, to be honest. There were certain positives from Team M42 though as well. I feel like the players really stepped up in terms of individual performances. There were good reasons to kind of smile for M42 Esports, and they can potentially grow from this one. You have Hyper, who is sort of coming back into form. You have Venom, who is performing really well. To be honest, the way he has found spaces in the defense of Orgless 5, I feel like nobody could actually do that before. And the fact that he found so many kills off of it also is a testament to the fact that those plans were successful. And it's time that he actually adds in more to the team as a leader, adds in more to the team as maybe a filter IGL, so he can sort of address the decision makings of the team and maybe work the team much better. But Orgless 5, they've been so good to watch. Blackhawk with 20 frags on a breach, who has so much work to do. Wimp on 14, Sai on 14, God Vaxi on 12, 8 on Hacker as well. A team effort, isn't it, Universe?
Yeah, with Blackhawk shining out the brightest, it has been a team effort from the rest of him. Blackhawk has truly come into his own in this game, whereas on the other side of things, Hyper and Venom were the only ones who were able to make an impact happen. Sam, Emo, and Rix with 6, 9, and 6 kills, just not enough to get them anywhere close to even the half mark, which is a little disappointing for sure. But hopefully they're able to, excuse me, overturn it and come back in the next game, because this is not just the easiest tie even. This is not even the hardest tie, forgive me. They've got a lot more to do. They've got a lot more work that needs to be put into their gameplay, a lot more work that needs to be maybe to give and to have their own identity, which is not trying to stay as defensively playing as possible, which is to try and get some map control by yourself, not let your opponent hog over all of it, and maybe, just that's kind of how it's been, right? Orgless 5 literally had
100%.
they had the cake and ate it even. That's basically how it was, and the cake being the map control, because that I think was one of the biggest reasons why the side of Orgless 5 were able to win this one out, and M42 losing this, because M42 was struggling to find map control. And yeah, that's pretty much been the story for now, ladies and gentlemen. The 4 p.m. game has concluded, but before we go further on, let's have a look at the group standings and end this match on a note to see whether or not Orgless 5 are going to be on top of the table. No, they are not. They're 1 point off. They are going to have one more game to go to try and overtake God Particles, who have won 2 out of 2, which is a great start for them, considering the last campaign in the TC Gauntlet was not that great start. But this time, they're looking to qualify, and they might just be able to do it. Now, we've got another game that should be coming up later on in the day, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to be, I believe, Reckoning Esports against... who was it again? I think I've forgotten.
Yeah.
It's going to be OnlyFriends, yeah. It's going to be Reckoning Esports against OnlyFriends from Group A coming up. And then to finish off Group B, we are going to be having Enigma and Team Arrow going to be playing up very soon in the TC Gauntlet. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we had for you. Thank you for joining. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. And if you have, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It does help us in providing you with better content. And we hope that the action never stops here. Just as you love it, we love presenting it to you as well. You are watching the LG Ultragear presents TC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial and Apparel Partner 656. We will see you all at the 8 p.m. game. Thank you very much.
2, 3, let's go.